Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a lovely day. So many people kept asking me about how I was able to achieve eye jiggle or some sort of jiggle like physics, even though this is really not physics at all. But how did I achieve eye jiggle inside of VC Phase purely, without an extra program to do the eye jiggle or something? How did I do it purely in VC Phase? Well, I will gladly explain it here, but first things first. Disclaimer and credits. First of all, it was CRYPTICLIGHT that actually gave me the idea on how to freaking achieve this. So please, for the love of God, check out Cryptic's channel and his Twitter. He makes beautiful 2D looking 3D models, so please give him a follow, give him some love. But second of all, disclaimer. This tutorial, you really have to apply your knowledge because you can do so much with jiggle eyes. Heck, you can even do a jiggle mouth. Like that. So you can go really insane if you want. You can use bones, UVs, or just blend shapes alone. It really just depends on what you want to do with it. So you really have to apply your knowledge on how you want to do it. And it also depends on your model's rig. So void models, they don't really have much. But if you use HANA tools, you could probably get a lot out of it. And as for the eye highlights for void models, you'll probably have to use another script probably for that. I'm gonna leave 2 tutorials about the void iPhone blend shapes and highlight stuff in the description. Please check that out. But you're probably gonna need Blender depending on your model. Now, if your model has eye highlight controls or bones and stuff already, you can use that. But if by any chance, your model doesn't have it, you're probably gonna have to use Blender or Maya or some program to add eye highlights or extra mouse controller. It just depends on your model, basically. I can't really explain for every type of model on how to do it. I can only give you at least how I personally did mine, and then you apply your knowledge. And in case you don't know how to apply your knowledge, please let me know. I'll gladly send you a tutorial on how to do that. But even then, though, I'm gonna also tell you right now, you are required to use the VSF SDK. Now, if you're someone who only wants to do VRM only, you can't do this. What you can do, though, is you can kind of have it where on your VRM model, if your VRM model is blinking, you can have it where your eyes basically gets bigger, and I'm gonna actually load it on VC Face right now. So this is my VRM model. So when I close my eyes, you can kind of see how my eye highlights kind of rotate. They don't jiggle like my VSF avatar model, but you can see my VRM is kind of having that sort of effect basically. So if you want to stay purely VRM, you can actually do that. But if you really want to have that jiggle, you'll have to use VSF avatar for that. So yeah. And also for VSF avatar, you need to use 2019.4.31. That is the only version that works with the VSF SDK. You'll also need UniVRM 0.89 or 0.66. But actually, from my experiments, you can actually use UniVRM up till, I think, UniVRM 0.99 or something, or some number like that. So technically you could use it, but use it at your own risk because not every model may work out with it. But with that being said, though, let's go ahead with the actual tutorial. So this is Unity, and I have my model right here. Now, basically, we're gonna start off by creating, of course, a VSF animation component. For my case, I've created mine. This is an older version of my model, so it doesn't have like the air kit setup that I have on my other model, but I'll show that later. But basically, you're supposed to have a VSF animation component here, and you need to have, now this kind of depends if you're webcam or iPhone. If your webcam, just, you'll have to add like your blink L and blink R, and you'll have to add like the jiggle for those 3 for like webcam users. But if your iPhone, you'll have to use the EyeBlink left, right, and then EyeWide left and right. And once again, you can use any other blend shape, which is actually how I'm able to achieve like a full entire jiggle air kit blend shape tracking sort of thing, which is really funny. But let's start off with, let's say, an EyeBlink jiggle, and we're only going to focus on one eye. You'll have to reflect it and to the other eye, which there is no automatic way of doing it, so you're going to have to do it manually. But we'll focus on the left eye, and I'll probably show you how I do the right eye. So we'll start off by going to the animation tab. If you don't know how to load an animation tab, just simply right click and add a tab and animation there, or you can go to the Windows option up here. You can't see on OBS because Windows capture, but you go to Windows on the top, kind of left but not far left, and then you go to animation and then press on animation, or just Control 6. But once we have that, what you're gonna do, where you see rapid flapping with a little arrow, you're gonna go ahead and add, you're gonna create a new clip. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name this EyeBlink Jiggle left. And you can see I've added a new animation. Now, what you're gonna do now this is entirely blend shape I'm gonna use. I could use my facial bones if I want to, but I'm not gonna use it in this case. I'm just gonna simply use blend shapes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit on auto record, which is the red button next to preview above the name of the animation, and we're gonna get to animate. Now, for the EyeBlink, the way I did it was I had an extra blend shape for the eye rotating. And you can see on my model on the right side, all I have to do is select my mesh here, name body. Your mesh may be named a bit differently though, but basically, you select on your mesh, you click on the blend shape part here. Because the thing is, from what I've tested, you can't really animate the blend shape clips, like the VRM blend shape clips themselves, but this is just more easier to use. Basically, I take one of my rotating, one of my rotating blend shapes like this, except I'm going to use the left one that I made in Blender, so it'll do this. So that's basically like one of my blend shapes. One does the rotate to this side, and the other one does rotate the other, just to show you like how my blend shape kind of look like for the the eye highlight rotate. You can also do the same thing for pupils as well, like the main pupil itself. So if you want to kind of achieve a little bit more like a Live2D squish effect, you can definitely do that. But for frame 1 though, frame 1 would basically be like it's neutral. Then the frame 10, I make it where the eye highlight moves to the one side, and then 20, reset, and then 30, does it again, and then 40 is the last frame, or 4 seconds, and then I play it, and it should have like a jiggle like that. And once again, this is just a base. If you know your way through animating, you can make the animation longer, shorter. You could do more insane stuff with the blend shape or bones or UVs, whatever you want. This is just basic stuff, basic knowledge, but this is what I did for my model though. Simple as that. And you can even have it where you can go more insane, like you can have it where you can have an extra blink blend shape to kind of like when you start blinking, you can kind of have it go down and up a bit, like this sort of. But I'm not gonna do that for my model, for this model though. That'd be a little too much. But there you go. You got that basically. And also another thing I do need to mention. When it comes to animating the air kit blend shapes, right? So let's say you want to do JawOpen, but you want to make it have a jiggle, right? You actually can't use the blend shape itself to do that. You actually need a separate blend shape, like the A key here or something equivalent. Because I've tested it and it turns out like using the blend shape itself, it's not going to work because the VSF SDK, the way that the VSF SDK works with animations is that it doesn't really overlap on itself, basically, if that makes sense, because when you're tracking, the blend shape will probably, let's say JawOpen is already like tracking at like probably like 94% basically. You can't really add on as much on the track it if you use the blend shape itself, so you have to use something like a separate blend shape. So the animation clip for, let's say, I'm gonna actually show you. So let's get out of the blink jiggle, let's do JawOpen jiggle, and I'll show you. So for JawOpen jiggle, basically instead of using the blend shape itself, you'll have to use the A key, which pretty much almost every VR model should have. Some models don't. Once again, it just depends. but you'll have to use you know, some other blend shape other than itself. But if you really need to use a blend shape itself, you'll have to duplicate in Blender though. I don't know if there's a way of doing it in Unity purely, but you'll probably have to duplicate the blend shape in Blender and then re-export with VRM and then convert it to VSF avatar and all that, and basically be able to do that sort of like jiggle that you want, a more intensive jiggle, I guess. Or if you have facial bones like my model, you can also use that, but also keep in mind too that you can't really overlap the bone either. Literally, you can't really overlap on a single component, if that makes sense. And by what I mean is that, let's say for bones, I'll try to explain this as well. Let's say the wing bone is at like when I do, because I want to make sure I explain this thoroughly as possible so people don't get confused like how I was with this. But let's say your wing, like the wings you have, or my wings, let's say it's on, you know, it's 56 degrees or something. That's the angle. Basically, if I have another animation, like the tilted wings, basically. Tilted wings where I have my wings tilted like this. Basically, if one of my wings is 56 degrees, and for another pose that you want to overlap on it, basically you're adding on to the animation. Let's say this was also 56 degrees for the other like toggleable stuff. Basically, it's not going to add on to the bone, it will just not do anything because it already kind of like reaches limit of whatever angle you did. I don't know why, it's a little confusing, but honestly it kind of helps prevent some weird stuff from happening. But at least that's from my own experience. It could be different from other people, but from my own experience, like if I try adding on to a single component like a single bone for wing flap or a blend shape even, I can't like use the bone or blend shape itself. I have to use like a secondary bone or a secondary blend shape to add on to it, if that makes sense. But with that being said though, we're gonna make another, so now that we have this though, I'm gonna or just swap, hold on. But now that we have, of course, iJiggle, and then let me quickly do the JawOpen jiggle. So let's go back to body. Basically for JawOpen jiggle or any other blend shape, if you want to do the entire error kit, go ahead. But of course have the auto record. Basically have it where first frame has, you know, neutral face. Frame 10, but it depends how fast you want it. Frame 10 will be where the mouth is slightly open, and then frame 20 will be 0. Now another thing too is that you don't want it to keep looping the jiggle, right? That would look really awkward. So how was I able to kind of make it like Live2D where it jiggles and stops? Well, all I had to do was copy like Control C the last frame, and then on this box here that says 20, that's like right next to the play button and all that, I have to type in the number, let's say 6,000, which is 100 seconds. 6,000. You can do more if you want, or type a million, I don't know. But basically, let's say 6,000. I'll show you, like when you zoom out, it will be right here exactly on 100. And I just paste the frame right there, and that way it will loop. So basically I'll have the jiggle, but it's not going to be really loopable. I mean, it's technically looping, but it's not going to loop like constantly on the model. It's going to still kind of like do this. You can actually have it where the animation doesn't loop though, but from what I've noticed, there was some, at least in my experience, there was some issues apparently. But I could be wrong though. Once again, this is just how this is just how much I know on the iJiggle. There's probably like more correction that can be done with this current knowledge, or at least my knowledge. But basically, that's just kind of how I personally did it. I just kept it looping, and it worked really well with my model without glitching out or anything like that, you know. Now, we're gonna make the last blend shape, or I'll show you how to do the right one, but basically the next one is EyeWide Jiggle left. this one I'm pretty sure a lot of people have fun with. Same thing with mouse shifting, because VTubers love the mouse shifting, love the eye jiggle wideness, you know, it's like the main stuff, you know, and you can do so much with this. So you can use like pupil dilate, like small pupil, big pupil, eye rotating stuff, like you can do a lot with this. So for eye jiggle, basically what I have it is, have auto record on. Basically I believe I use this, I kind of use like 2 of the blend shapes. I use rotate 1 and 2. So for the first frame, neutral, 10 seconds will be where rotate 1 will rotate, and then 20, it will have it where the rotate 1 is 0. But on frame 10 though, rotate 2 will basically be at 0, and then 20, it'll have it where rotate 2 is active, but then on 30 it stops. And this is just to give you the idea of that sort of Live2D jiggle, like when you open your eyes, it's like woo woo. And you could do a little more too. So let's say small pupils. Once again, it's really important to have LNR blend shapes, or left and right blend shapes. It really gives you more control of the model, but you can definitely make it where, like here, you can have it where the pupil can be really small, and then on this frame you can have it where the pupil can be really big. Now sadly, this was my mistake. I did not make a left and right blend shape to make the pupils bigger. Silly me. So that is something I have to do in Blender to separate into LNR blend shapes. So that's kind of my mistake, but either way, at least, you know, you got some jiggle going on. I could even fake it. Either I can use, I can try using the bones I have in my model, but then again, it'll mess up with the tracking a bit because I don't have a secondary eye controller for the bone. But I could use my blink blend shape to kind of fake it. So not that one actually, the iPhone one, but then again, keep in mind, if it adds up, it's gonna, you know, act a little weird. So I can try using this, but then again, it's probably not gonna work fully, because once again, like I said, VSF SDK has it where if you add up to it, it's not gonna work. So I'll probably have to definitely, you know, work on Blender for that in that case. But basically just experiment with the model and just see what you can do with it. But yeah, I mean, at least we have this, at least, you know, just something at least. So basically, for this case, let's see, so basically just make sure that, once again, you kind of like copy the last frame, make sure, I'm just double checking that everything is good, I believe, yep. So we're just gonna copy the last frame though, even though I'm kind of like forgetting something. Let me just see this. Yeah, that's a pupil small, so zero that out. All right, so copy the last frame and then go to like 6,000 or something on the box here. And then what you're gonna then do is then just do the same thing, just paste it, and that's it. And that way does the jiggle, and then for 100 seconds it will basically be on loop. You can make it longer, like if apparently for some reason you can stare for more than 500 seconds and you want to do a staring contest with your chat, make the time longer. That's all I could really say. It just really depends on like if you want to do a lot of staring, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if you guys would do staring contests, but either way, we got an EyeWide Jiggle though. And then how to do left and right. Well, there's no automatic way of doing this. Unless there's a way, some add-on possibly, but for me, I don't really know. So I have to kind of do it manually. So basically what I do, just to kind of give you like my idea, like kind of give you an idea of how to do this in my, like how I do it. Basically I just kind of look at the blend shape that I applied on the animation. So EyeBlink, jiggle left. First of all, make an EyeBlink jiggle right. And I have to look at the, you know, the left one that I've worked on. So basically, frame 0 of course has nothing. I only use one blend shape for this case, which is the rotate 1L. So 10, you know, just keep in mind, just look at the number. I applied it as 100, then 0, then 100, then 0. And I'm just gonna copy that. Just look at the keyframe and just memorize what you originally did. And then just like repeat exactly what you did, basically. So 0, 100, 0. Oh, whoops, hold on. Wrong blend shape. That one's 100, 0. And then, hold on, let me adjust this. Okay, 100, 0, and then 100. Right, so it's 0, 100, 0, 100, and then 0. And then it jiggles for right eye. As for the, of course, wide eye, I did a little more, because once again, I expect, like, when it comes to, like, that eye wide, some people might go a bit crazy on it. Like, they can do, like, a rotate, a squish, make some parts of the eye, like, you know, if you want a watery effect on the eye. Some people might have specific blend shifts or even bone control for that in that case. So, basically, I just have to, once again, just take a look at what I did per frame. And from the left, just translate over to the right manually. But for the most part, I just really, all I pretty much did was just use 100. I didn't do anything too crazy. But let's see. So we're gonna make a new clip. EyeWide Jiggle right. And then we'll just go ahead and animate that. So let's begin with the rotate LNR. So 0, rotate 0, and then rotate the, not that one, but the right one, 0, 0. Let's test. So, okay, I can do that, and then take a look at my original animation. And then, okay, so I did that. Small pupil happens here, and then it stops, and it just rotates. You can also do the same thing with, also, once again, like I said, you could do anything, any blend shape, even if it could be a memeable, like, blend shape. So, you can even have it, like, the, even like a wide here, like this, if you really want to. Yeah, like this. So I'll do that to the right eye. Alright, so here I'll add the right, here. Oh, whoops, I didn't enable the auto record. So here, widen the eye, 0 it out, and then make this a small pupil, then back to normal. And I can't do big pupil, I have to go back to Blender and do that, but you can do that for the right eye, basically, just that in a nutshell. And of course you could do more, but that's pretty much all I'm gonna really show you. Now, how to register it in your model. I'll go ahead and hide the gizmos here for a second, but basically what you're going to do is you're gonna go to your VSF animation, and you're gonna have to add a component for the, depends on the tracker you want to use it for, whether webcam, iPhone, or heck, if you want to go for a more intense face tracking device, do that. It just really depends on what are the blend shapes. But for in this case, we're gonna do iPhone, but I'll still kind of show you for webcam too, but it's really simple, really simple. But basically for iPhone, you'll have to, of course, I said earlier, apply it to the blinks and the wide, but you can apply it to every single ARKit blend shape to make that full entire jiggle. So yeah, so all I have to do is just click and drag the EyeWide Jiggle to the left, and to just click and drag it and just register, and you can see there it should have jiggle. So you can use this naming scheme if you like to keep it organized, or you can use something else, but try to keep this as organized as possible so you don't forget. Now for the blinks here, once again you can also just apply the blink that you made for the iPhone one, but of course if you're wondering how you do the eyes widen jiggle effect, you'll have to probably use browse up in order to do that. At least for webcam users, because there is no like wide eye blend shape other than, I guess, surprise. So definitely you'll probably have to like experiment. It just depends on your setup really on the webcam, whether you're going to use the browse up to have the jiggle, or you're going to set up VC face experimental detection face tracking for the VRM based blend shapes, and you can try doing a jiggle on the eyes widen, you know. So but yeah, overall that's pretty much it. That's literally how you do the jiggle for VSF avatar, and then you just export it. But I will say that this is the wrong version of Unity though, but I will show you my actual version or my actual setup, so I can show you a more intense setup. So let me go ahead on here, VSF avatar. So here's my actual project here. So I select my model, and I'm going to show you that there is a whole amount of the ARKit. You can see I have mouth close jiggle, cheek puff jiggle, mouth pucker. I have all the jiggles here basically. Now of course a lot of them are broken though, so I have to fix them, but you can do that with your model. And yes, it's gonna kind of lag Unity a bit, but don't worry, you'll be fine, I hope. But yeah, but that's for like a more advanced setup though, if you want to get an idea on it. But you can go insane, you can use UVs, you can use the bones, you can use whatever. Just apply your knowledge on the rig that you want to use it for, and that's kind of it really. But I hope this tutorial helps you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you though. And of course, I'd love to also, you know, see other 3D models have the jiggle eyes, so please feel free to share all over Twitter. I want to see more 3D models with eye jiggle with VSF SDK, you know. So let's make that happen. All right, but with that being said though, heike sayonara. I hope to see you guys next time. All right, bye.